All right, kitchen peeps, today we're going to do something very incredibly hard and challenging, but it's a kitchen skill you should have. So, I'm kidding, I'm a lie. This is going to be the most simple thing we've ever done. If you can imagine that, like there's anything more simple than some of the other things we've done. But seriously, this is. We're going to make enchilada sauce, homemade enchilada sauce. It's very good. It's very easy, and it's another one of those things you want to have in your freezer. I'm pointing over here because my freezer's right there. Have it in your freezer and ready and quickly able to go to make a dinner when you're short on time because you didn't plan. But if you do plan, it's even great to have it for that. So let's get busy. This is going to be super simple. We've got 28 ounces, of diced tomatoes. I love this brand. One thing I will encourage you, you're thinking, it's organic, it's more expensive, blah, blah, blah. Open a can of the leading, I'll not say a brand name, but any of the leading brands of just common, find it on your grocery store shelf, tomatoes. And they're runny, there's lots of water, and they're just gnarly. And then open a can, there's this brand. There's a lot of good organic brands. Field Day's a good brand. That's all I can think of off the top of my pointy little head. But I like this one because it's a product of Italy, and who knows tomatoes better than Italians? Well, maybe Mexicans. But anyway, let's turn down and look at this. We can do it without breaking something. Hopefully you don't see my bright pink, fuzzy slippers. Isn't that terrible? Or socks. But look at this. You see how thick it is? Those are like thick chunks of tomatoes, and there's not a tremendous amount of sauce. There's tomatoes all the way to the top. Open one of those other cans. All you're gonna see is red water. So there's a difference. So anyway, we're gonna use 28 ounces of tomatoes. We're gonna use some of our trilogy, yay. I need to make some more. We are going to use chipotle peppers and adobo, and I'll get back to that in a minute. Some cumin, coriander, salt, some of our homemade chicken stock, and then a little bit of lard. That's it. It's so easy. Let's talk about the peppers. I really think this is the key. If you buy, and I can't think of the brand off the top of my head, so I'll have to look it up and I'll put it in the notes for the video. But there is a particular brand that I usually buy. They're not organic. I haven't found them in an organic brand. Doesn't mean they don't exist. I just hadn't found it. But they are like kind of bits and pieces in here. You have to be careful. But you just pull out a little bit. Like to do the amount we're going to do, you want to do a half of a pepper. Unless you like your face burning off and little flames shooting out your nostrils, you're going to use a half a pepper. These are the hottest dadgum things I've ever eaten in my life. And I'm a weenie when it comes to hot stuff, but good Lord, this is ridiculous. But that's about a half a pepper. So we'll just get this. All this stuff is going to go straight in the blender. Let me turn this up so y'all can see my blender. There it is, my Ninja blender. I love me some Ninja. These things are awesome. So anyway, let's dump our tomatoes in. Like I said, it's 28 ounces. See if I can do this without getting tomato everywhere. So there's your tomato. Did I get it all? Yep. And then we're going to do our half of a chipotle pepper and adobo. Get the little sauce off the cutting board and put it in here. And this is one of those things, like so many other things I talk about. Yes, it freezes beautifully. I have it in the market at the restaurant and we sell it. We make it in a huge batch and then put it in a little container, stick it in the freezer. I do it at home. We do it up there. It's amazing. So you can make, you could triple this and, have a good amount. So then we're going to do 3/4 of a cup of trilogy, and I have a little 1/4 cup measure here. I'm telling you, this enchilada sauce makes all the difference in whatever kind of Mexican stuff you're doing. It's so good. And then we want, can't get that open, a teaspoon of cumin and a teaspoon of coriander. Do this without spilling it. Come out. Why isn't it coming out? There we go. I don't have, oh good Lord. Get my right hand. It functions a little better. My left hand's kind of retarded because I'm right-handed. All right, there we go. Teaspoon of coriander, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, just kind of eyeball it, boom. And some chicken stock, and oh shoot, I forgot to get that out. Hold that thought. Okay, got my chicken stock, sorry about that. Here's a 1/2 cup. This is homemade chicken stock, see, from chickens that we stewed. So you want to use the best you got. You know, we talk about all the time, the quality of the ingredients is what makes such a tremendous difference in how your food tastes and the nutritional value, etc. So you're going to put all this in your blender. I'll put the list of ingredients at the bottom of the video. And then you're going to run it in the blender for about 30 seconds. You just want to get those tomatoes real small and get everything blended real well. I'll pause so y'all don't have to listen to that. Okay, we're back. The blending finished. Ta-da, there it is. And we're obviously at the stove, in case you couldn't tell, and we're going to use some of our lard. Look at that. Is that the most gorgeous white creamy looking stuff you've ever seen? Goodness, it's amazing. So we're going to put a tablespoon, and I'm not going to be just super particular about my tablespoon, but you want about a tablespoon in there. Turn that on. Get my little whisk. I'm going to get my bigger whisk. You want to get your lard or your oil of choice, as long as it's not a conventional vegetable seed oil. Don't ever, ever, ever. And I wouldn't use olive oil because you're going to get this kind of hot, pretty hot, and you don't want to get olive oil that hot. It just breaks it down and makes it no good. So avocado oil would be fine. Lard, obviously. I didn't use bacon grease. That would work. So, going to get that hot. Get that melted, and then we're going to pour this in. Making a nice little mess. Yay, I'll let it clean my stove. Feels like I do it every 30 minutes. And then you're just going to bring this to a boil, turn it down, and let it simmer about 10 minutes. And that's it. And that is the best enchilada sauce, in my opinion, ever. That's all you got to do, peeps. I mean, if you can dump stuff in a blender, let me turn this thing up so you're not hearing my blabbering, but not seeing. Anyway, if you can dump stuff in a blender and dump stuff in a pot, you can make enchilada sauce. And it's amazing. And I'm going to tell you, the key is the adobo. Chipotle peppers and adobo sauce. That is the key. It gives it a nice smoky, little bit of spicy flavor. Like I said a minute ago, if you like it really hot, then add more peppers. I've played with this one over time to get it to a place that I really like the flavor, but it doesn't have heat because I don't like the heat. And then if you want to add heat to whatever dish you're making, you can throw in more peppers, more chipotle peppers. You could throw in jalapenos, cayenne, whatever. I just don't want my enchilada sauce hot. I want it a little more neutral. Neutral's not a good word. It makes it sound bland, and it ain't bland. I just want it a little more basic. And then spice up whatever I'm cooking. But this is one of those things. Like I said, I put it in little cups, stick it in the freezer. You can put it in Ziploc bags if you want to, stick it in the freezer. I would measure it out in 1 cup measurements or 2 cup, kind of depending on the volume of food you typically cook. Usually with enchilada sauce, you're going to use a little extra. So you might want to do 2 cup measures. But you're late, you don't have dinner planned, you're frantic, oh my word, what am I going to do? Thaw out some of that stewed chicken, because we always have stewed chicken in our refrigerator because it's important to have that stuff on hand, remember? So you're going to stew your chickens when you have time on the weekend or whatever, a weekday when you don't have anything going on, and pick it and put your broth in the freezer, put your chicken in the freezer in little 1-pound packages. So you get home from work, you're freaking out, take your chicken, thaw it out. You could throw some beans and black beans in there, or kidney beans. You could throw some corn in there, mix in some enchilada sauce, roll it up in tortillas, throw it in a dish, pour a little more enchilada sauce on it, scrub, what the heck is that? Shred some cheese on top and pop in the oven, and you have phenomenal enchiladas. Homemade, really fast, and really tasty. You could do it with hamburger meat. Hamburger meat, the little taco sauce seasoning on there, roll them up, stick them in there. You don't want to take the time to roll them, because here's something that, it's not going to change the flavor. And rolling is cool and pretty and all that kind of stuff, but I'm trying to get good food on the table as quick as possible to feed my family. I just got to where I started doing a layer. So I would put a little bit of enchilada sauce down, layer my taco tortilla shells or tortillas, put my meat, my beans, my corn, my whatever, another layer of meat, beans, corn, you know, do it 2 or 3 layers, top it with enchilada and cheese and bake that. It tastes exactly the same, but it is a whole lot faster than rolling. So there's your freebie. Something else you can do. You got family or kids or a kid or even you that you're like bleh on green stuff. This is a perfect dish to mix in spinach or kale or chard. Spinach is usually my go-to just because I love some spinach. But you can mix that in and cook it with your meat and then layer it all up. They're not going to taste it. They are not going to taste it unless you put 12 pounds. But it's going to add that nutritional value to their meal, and it'll just be really good for them. But like I said, they won't taste it. They won't know the difference. If anybody questions, oh, it's seasoning. Yeah, it is. It's seasoning. They don't need to know what kind. So anyway, that's it. Enchilada Sauce 101. Love my video. Hug it, clap it, high five it, all that kind of stuff. Comment, subscribe, do the stuff. As we always say, do the stuff. Appreciate y'all. Come back and see us again.